All right, you're set.
Thank you for joining us for the board meeting for the Village of East Aurora for November 18, 2024. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Trustee Lazikis?
Here.
Trustee Cameron?
Here.
Trustee Vijay?
Here.
Trustee Flynn?
Here.
Trustee Raby? Trustee Shear?
Here.
Mayor Mercurio?
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the village board meeting for November 4, 2024?
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract 2024-2025 fiscal year for voucher numbers 65421 to 65475 for a total of $884,136.27?
So moved.
Moved by Molly, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right. This is our first speakers in communications, but for the first item, I'd like to ask Matt Hay to join me up in front of the group here. Matt is retiring. This is his last meeting that he'll be actually working. So we have a proclamation for him, whereas Matt Hay is retiring from the Village of East Aurora after 32 years of service with the East Aurora Department of Public Works, and whereas Matt Hay has displayed dedication to the residents of the Village of East Aurora from his first position as laborer to his 19 years heading the department and retiring as the Superintendent of Public Works. And whereas Matt Hay, Superintendent, has managed unprecedented events in his tenure as Superintendent, including the October surprise storm, multiple snow events, including blizzards, states of emergency, multiple flooding events, COVID, a train derailment, and even a sinkhole. Whereas Superintendent Hay has worked to successfully foster positive relationships with the other municipalities and was respected and liked by his counterparts in other communities. Allegedly. Yeah. Take some liberties. Whereas Superintendent Hay worked with his crews to improve our community through many significant projects such as Hamlin Park improvements, Tannery Brook Culvert, multiple water and road reconstruction projects, and where Superintendent Hay with his team has accomplished keeping East Aurora a sought-after, beautiful place to live through their efforts to decorate our main street with flowers, banners, and various decorations, and whereas Superintendent Hay is a respected individual, it's hard to get through that one, is a respected individual who has devoted much of his life to the care of the businesses and residents of the Village of East Aurora. His professionalism and his service leave a legacy behind for which our village will be forever grateful. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Peter M. Mercurio, on behalf of the Village Board and all of our citizens, extend sincerest appreciation for his distinguished service and best wishes for a very happy retirement. Appreciate all his smoked meat recipes that he'll have time to expand on. And 32 years, he started, what, when you were like 41? So that's a long time. That's a long time.
Matt.
But he will always take texts and calls middle of the night whenever I call and ask for something the village needs him.
I will until.
He might still
I
get
will
the calls
until.
and texts, just won't be replying to them. So we appreciate you so much, Matt. If you would like to say a few words.
It was a pleasure working here. That's really all I can say.
All right. Would the trustees like to expand on that at all?
It was a pleasure having him work here.
Most of the time.
I'm going to miss our 9 o'clock meetings. Jeff, be ready.
I remember when I first got elected mayor, my very first meeting, you would text me during the meeting, photoshopped pictures of me holding baby goats. I don't know why, but it was great. For my first meeting, it was great. It took the edge off and it kept it fun and relaxed. So I do appreciate your pranks. for the most part.
Thank you very much, Matt. You did a great job. It wasn't easy. You had to deal with a lot of personalities everywhere, and you did it with grace and professionalism. And I've admired your style for quite a while. You know, your stoic presence will be missed at our meetings. So enjoy your retirement.
I don't know how we're going to fill the dead air space anymore.
All right, thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
This is still Speakers and Communications. If anybody else would like to speak on any item, raise your hand, and when recognized, come on up, give us your name and address. We do record all these comments, and let us know what is on your mind. Miss? Remember, we asked you to keep it under 12 seconds.
Hi, I'm Joanne Ryan. I live at 211 Porterville Road. I do pay town and village tax because part of our property is in the town and part of our property is in the village. I wasn't going to come tonight, but I had a terrible situation today again, and I have spoken to Shane many times about this situation. And where I live at Porterville and Pine, we have rocks along the property because of the fact that people are absolutely flying down Porterville Road. I spoke with Chief Welch earlier this week about the study that is going to be taking place with the Department of Transportation about this particular area, especially at Main Street, at Olean and Pine Street. So that's why I'm here tonight. I almost got killed again today. And I have called Shane many times and said, I'm outside doing my leaves on my property, and people absolutely fly by. As you're aware, on Girdle Road, it's 45 miles an hour. On Porterville Road, it's 35 miles an hour. And at Pine Street, it is 30 miles an hour. There has been an increase in traffic since I have lived there. My husband has lived in the house over 50-plus years. His mother-in-law, his mother, Mary Flickinger, got in trouble many times because she would take a hose and hose people down, and I'm sure Shane is well aware of that. And she was almost arrested one time by a group of motorcyclists. So this has been going on for a long time, the speeding on that particular part of the street. The thing is that where we are, I have been in touch with Mr. Gary's office from Erie County, because Porterville and Pine Street are Erie County roads. We as a village have no jurisdiction of the signage on those roads. We can recommend it, but when I talked to Mr. Gary's office many times, especially recently about the rocks that are in front of my property that Shane brought to my attention again today, I suggested maybe we would have a study. They said it was very expensive. I was the one personally that got the signage changed because the yield sign was totally gone. You couldn't even see a yield sign. And when you come down from the main street to Pine Street Extension, you have to literally stop. It's like a blind spot there. Today when I was outside doing my leaves, as I do almost every other day, and a person goes flying by, that's when the emergency crew came flying down. Our first responders, there was an emergency flight was at the end at Fireman's Field. I could see 5 emergency vehicles coming down, and if some jamoke was flying down Porterville, there could have been a disaster. Again, it's a very, very dangerous intersection. In the past 2 years, past 5 years, the lamppost that's at the corner there on Fisher Price's property has been taken down. And we've had to have that redone.
Joanne, just to clarify, you're talking that the traffic issues is all coming from Porterville, right? Not leaving the village, it's all coming into the village.
When they leave the village, when they get around the corner and it's that straight zone, they fly, especially they just open it up. I mean, and that's why Mary would take the hose and hose them down, because it was outrageous. The other thing is just so you know, my mother-in-law also tried to get a roundabout at Main Street when they redid Main Street, and that's when the property, which is CVS, was a car dealership, And when they sold it, when the home sold it to CVS, there wasn't enough room for the roundabout. But she was really an advocate for this. So there's a bunch of us residents on Pine Street. The people have changed. It's a lot of young kids now. We've got the Davis family. We got Scott Moore's family. They have 4 kids. There's a lot of young kids now on Pine Street as well as Porterville there. We have had numerous complaints to the police department, as Shane knows. The police department has done a great job. They come and radar it, but it's only temporary because people see the police car, and safety is a consideration. I spoke with Lindsay Larigo recently, and Lindsay told me that the county would love to give the village of East Aurora Pine Street. They would love it after they do the reconstruction. Now, I know that there's a huge cost, et cetera. So I'm here hoping that maybe our safety committee, which I've talked to Chief Welch, would come forward and say to the county, we would like to put a couple stop signs. On Oakwood, if you come down Oakwood to Main Street, now we've got 4-way stop there. Okay, there could be stop signs at Pine Street and Porterville. Now, the road turns a little bit, but it could be a stop sign, definitely. We have a stop sign at going down to Pine Street Extension. Okay, the yield sign was gone. They changed that. It's not slowing the traffic down at all. And like I said, a lot of the residents are upset. We also pay village tax. The village tax goes for the roads, which we know with other things, but it's just a very, very dangerous intersection. Very dangerous. So what we're hoping is that you all just look at this and say, it is a major concern. This is nothing new. This has been going on for many, many years. That's why we have the rocks, because people used to end up in our property all the time. And you cannot literally be in our front yard, nor near Porterville without being nervous. It is they fly. They absolutely fly. So we're hoping that you guys could look at that and maybe recommend to the county, because I know that Chief Welsh is, I spoke with him and he's on board, to look and see if we could put a stop sign, couple stop signs. And someone said, the roads don't line up. Well, I've been out there. They could line up. You could stop at Porterville, you could stop at Pine Street, and you got Pine Street Extension. Now, the other concern, too, is that if we are using Pine Street Extension for emergency vehicles, when I was coming here tonight, when you are driving down Porterville, and you're going pretty fast, and you're coming down Pine Street towards Pine Street Extension, it's kind of a blind spot. It's not really easy to see. And like I said, I just think that we've had a lot of accidents, over the years, but in the last 5 years, at least 2 major accidents. And the last accident, the girl was helicoptered out of this area. That happened, I think, within 2 years ago. So I just think that that's what our proposal is. And like I said, we as a group on Pine Street, there's a bunch of us that would be willing to come here to show the support for this. If you would like that, or a written petition, or whatever you need, like I said, there's a lot of kids now. And we talked to Shane, myself, and Mo Gavin about getting the big trucks off, and Jimmy Bach was gracious enough to write a letter, and that kind of has ceased. So we don't have the big trucks anymore on Porterville. That happened last year. But this is not a new issue, and I'm telling you that something's going to happen. There's little kids, a lot of little kids now on that area, and there's no regulation of the speed. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to our complaint. But
Thanks, Joanne.
and congratulations, Matt. By the way, you did a great job. Appreciate it. I talked to Matt too. So, thank you.
Thank you. So Pat, is that something you can have the safety committee take a look at, and what's involved with having? I know when we order a traffic safety study from like the DOT, it doesn't cost the community, it doesn't cost the village anything, right? They just do it for us. It shows up in a couple of months. They weigh in on it. But for this, for a county road, how does that process work? Do you know, or can you find out?
Yeah, so I think what we do is, as a SAGE committee, is talk about it, and because we're not traffic engineers, pass it along to the county and ask them to ask their safety engineers and their folks what the feasibility of a stop sign would be there, if they'd even allow it, if they feel it would help. If they have any other ideas, I know they're planning to reconstruct it. I think a few of us have been invited to a meeting here coming up downtown about that reconstruction. Bring it up there and talk to them, that the neighbors are concerned there. I don't know.
Really, that's a good point. If something's going to happen, now is probably the best time to do it, right? While they're
Right.
working on it. I don't know. The Erie County Roads Commissioner, that's Bill Geary, right? So that's the guy that ultimately makes a decision. Is that the guy you talked to?
It's really, yes,
Yeah.
but it's really the design of the road, if you look at the road. And the other thing is that we, as a group, if they won't do this, this is the time that we could change the signage by having the village take that part of the road over, because they plow it anyways, and all the streets off of that road, it's not even a mile long. And, it'd be 20 years before anybody had to do anything, but we could then control that part of the road if we took it over. I can tell you that Erie County would love for us to take that over, that section, at least from Lindsay Larigo's.
No, that's true. They'd love, the Erie County has a lot of roads they're trying to offload
Yeah.
on the local communities so that they don't have to pay for the maintenance anymore, right? And so short term, they're like, oh, we'll redo the road, soup to nuts, like Oakwood was done from the base all the way up. But then in 20, 25 years, when it needs it again, then it's the community's responsibility. So you're kind of saddling the future
Yeah, but we're
to take
paying
care of
it,
it.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if there's a way for us to get the signage changed or get
Yes.
this alleviated without having to take over the whole road, that would be.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But we need to do something about the speed. It's just, this has been going on,
Well, we finally got the truck thing to slow down, but the fact that Pine is in such bad shape because the county's letting it go before they redo it all next year, I think that probably slowed traffic down.
Right.
no.
Yeah, it's not going to get any slower.
So I'm saying, when you put a brand new road on there next year, right, it's going to be even faster, I would imagine. So
I have the county plans right here. They're going down Porterville quite a ways, so now would be the time to bring it up.
yeah, this would be optimal.
Yeah.
Maybe they could even change the design of the road. I don't know if they could.
They bid it already, so it'd be a change order, I'm sure, but maybe.
It's just, that corner is really crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they came through your front yard, it made it a 90-degree
You
angle.
know,
Yes.
I would be happy to sell it, seriously, I'm not kidding you, because it is, last year I was snow blowing my driveway, I'm not kidding you, this far. I believe it. I called Shane, I said, Shane, you gotta do something, this is crazy, and I've called you how many times, tons of times. It's very, and like I said, we got little kids, like lots of little kids. Scotty Moore's got 4 kids. Oh, that's the other thing. We all have signs. If you've gone down, my signs are all gone, but people have put signs. Children are playing. It's
Pat?
scary.
I think it's just basically I think the county takes a lot of what the village wants into consideration. I've been told that, at least with other intersections
Sure.
in the village, that they pretty much sometimes will act based on the recommendation of the village. So we can meet, as a safety committee, and we're kind of in transition. I'll meet with Shane. I've worked with him for a little while now, and we'll see if we'll ask them what they think. I'm not personally a traffic engineering expert, but we can ask them, the folks that do design the roadways, what are our options there to make this safer so that nobody gets hit.
Perfect. Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Joanne. Anyone else want to speak on an issue? All right, that ends our first speakers and communications. There'll be a second one at the end of the meeting if you think of something. No public hearings tonight. Moving on to official considerations. Can I get a motion to refer to the Planning Commission on December 3rd, 2024, a special use permit application for Alex Perez at 21 Fairlawn Court to operate an owner-occupied B&B?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? So this is a special use permit application for a B&B. Matt Hay, what do you think? Sure. You think you're all right with it? All right. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved, referred to the Planning Commission for December 3rd. Can I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for Anna White of Dopus Dough for Hometown Holiday Market December 8, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in their back parking lot?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? So this is in the back lot. This is a new event, 4 hours. Is the applicant here? The applicant like to come up and just give us a high level, please?
So you guys are already familiar with the hometown market that Jericho puts on. It's pretty no nonsense. It's pretty much the same thing, just we have more space in our back parking lot and figured it would be a good idea. So it's just our back parking lot. So our parking lot will be fully open, and then obviously we're surrounded by Main Street parking and then the village parking lot as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
So people will be able to park in the village lot or on the curb up on Main Street and
Or
walk
in our
over
lot,
to the
too.
event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in your lot, right?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for the applicants?
And we
Sounds
plow
like
it and
sounds like a
everything. We
good
salt
idea.
it. So, yeah. Yeah.
Very good. All right, appreciate
Cool.
it.
Thanks.
Any other discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Congratulations. Thank you. I get a motion to approve a peddler solicitor permit for Michael Yohe? 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 Not like it's the first time I've had to say this, right?
You'll get it eventually.
To operate a horse-drawn carriage.
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? Nothing changing? Very good. Thanks, Michael. Any other discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve a resolution to replace the DPW vac truck water pump as an emergency using DPW labor and purchasing the parts using quotes?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion?
Just so you know, we're not.
Matt,
we're not-
you want to tell us what's going on with this? Nice try.
The main high-pressure pump went down on this a little while ago, and we've been trying to get just the replacement parts to rebuild it, and unfortunately, they're no longer available due to the age of the equipment. So we're kind of stuck with having to replace the whole pump.
The reason it's on the agenda is because we normally would have to bid it for the cost, and we're doing quotes because it's an emergency.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Maureen. Was it moved by Kristen, second by Molly? Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to set a public hearing for a site plan application for James Boglioli of 160 to 190 Main Street, Chipotle Mexican Grill, to update the front awning to black, change the front entry doors, and provide a new rear exit door for the new restaurant?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is set. I get a motion to approve a resolution in support of continued and increased state aid for local governments.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? Matt, is that the AIM funding? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
What would you like to know?
What are the ranges in funding that we can expect to receive?
Yeah, I don't have that information right in front of me.
Next meeting?
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
We get
Maureen?
$50,000 a year. This year we got an extra 3, which is not normal. We have not gotten extra since before I started in government. And we're just looking to increase that amount for villages and other municipalities.
All right. Any other discussion from the board? Moved by Kristen, second by Ernie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to authorize the clerk treasurer to post the completed audited financial statements for the public?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second by Steve. Further discussion?
We're just going to be putting it right on the website, so any village resident can review the financial statements. I know the board members got the financial statements already, and I have reviewed them as well as the village administrator.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve the budget adjustments.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. No new business or old business. Second, speakers and communications. Anybody else want to chime in? All right, closing that. Department head report. Pat?
We're at the police department. Things are going well. Normal police work being conducted. Nothing new and exciting to report on the crime fighting end of things. If you notice, I have a beard. The officers, again, have proposed growing facial hair in the months of November and December, and they pay a fine per officer. I believe, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I want to say that fine money, so to speak, is going to go to the fish around Christmas time. So that's always a nice thing. You know, the guys like to give their razors a break, and it goes to a great cause. So it's kind of a fun thing that the officers do each year. So we got that going on. We're all staffed and ready for the annual turkey EA trot that happens on Thanksgiving morning and seems to gain popularity each year. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's staffed and ready to go. And then lastly, back in September, I was facing a deadline, so I went ahead and applied through DCJS for a federal grant that's dispersed down through the states for the funding of implementing a program where officers would begin carrying tasers. And I was notified late last week that we were awarded about $55,000 in that grant.
Wow.
It would fund a 5-year program. It would provide 8 taser devices, 16 licenses. 16 officers would have their own power pack and cartridge pack. And it would come with the training from the company Axon, who makes the only taser we know about. We believe they're the only company that makes such a device. And they would come here, if we purchased it from them, train up to 4 officers to be trainers, and then those officers would turn around and train the rest of the department. I would most likely have Lieutenant O'Hara spearhead this, as far as the training goes. He's our firearms training officer, and a lot goes into holster location and things like that. So I've begun speaking with, I've spoke with the mayor, and I've started my board member tour to explain. I started with Kristen, our department liaison, to explain what the grant application was, what's it for, what police officers use tasers for, you know, the concerns about them. You know, they're not 100% risk-free. They do come with some risk, but in my opinion, they're a good tool. I think anything we can do to give our officers another tool to deal with certain situations, whether it be criminal or mental health, is a good thing. And it's going to be essentially free to us. So I'll be working on talking to a few more board members in the next few weeks, and hopefully it can be voted on soon.
What's your timeline looking like?
The next meeting would be great. Axon does pricing based on the calendar year. Their prices will go up January 1st. So they said as long as the mayor signs the dotted line prior to that, it locks in the pricing. So sooner the better, but definitely before the first of the year.
So I guess this would be good to have the board maybe spend the next few weeks coming up with questions, getting them over to Pat. I know you look at tasers and you say, all right, well, like you said, it's not, you know, it's not totally non-invasive. I mean, it's pretty significant, but to have a non-lethal option between pepper spray and firearms is pretty significant, especially to your point, the mental health issue. If you have somebody having a mental health breakdown with a knife and you can incapacitate them without putting an officer at risk, it seems like it'd be a nice extra tool to have in your armamentarium. I've done a lot of research on it. I look forward to doing more as well. But does the board have any questions for Pat at this point?
I can also extend the salesperson who I've been working with Axon has extended that he would be happy to do a teleconference with any board member that was on the fence or curious or needed to know more or just wanted to know more. He'd be happy to, show videos and go over statistics and things like that and show what they actually do. They've come a long way in their science and their technology. I was recently, before when this all started, I went up to Niagara Community College, and they had the Axon Road Show, and Lieutenant O'Hara and I actually shot training versions of these at a target and did virtual reality glasses and did scenarios and that, and it's come a long way. It's pretty impressive. I was tased in the police academy in 2003, and it's a lot different now.
As part of a training, or?
Yeah, just.
Don't you have to get tased?
I didn't do my homework.
Do you have to get tased to carry them?
No, you don't have to, but you can volunteer. The salesman put it to me as
I'd like to be there for that.
nobody in the police academy volunteers to be shot, so they don't make anybody get tased. But so it's exciting, and I was very happy and surprised to get full funding for this project. So.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good one.
Yeah, that's fantastic. 55,000.
A blind
I think I was
squirrel
talking
found a
to-
nut.
What's that?
Found a nut because it was just luck.
I was talking to Greg Egloff, who's a state trooper and part of the fire department, and he had a taser on him at the time, and it's like bright yellow, right? And it's on the other side of the gun, and it's like up high. It was in a different spot.
Yeah, the idea is to locate them somewhere that's not similar to your sidearm, so that your muscle memory and your mindset is, completely different than when you're unholstering your gun at a call. You can have them mounted down on your thigh. You can have them so they're cross-draw. There's a lot of different things you can do, but we'll look into all the, all the expertise on that before making a decision on stuff like that, because we definitely want to make sure that we implement it in a safe way and that it's utilized correctly.
Yeah. What other departments locally have them?
Locally, the only department I can find that doesn't have them are the SUNY police departments. I don't believe UB carries them, and I know for sure Buff State doesn't. Outside, I reached out to the Erie County Chiefs Association last week and again today asked, and everybody that responded to me currently does carry them. A lot of them are looking to upgrade. We'd be getting the latest, greatest model, and a lot of those agencies are looking to come to this one. So I believe we're one of the few that don't. And I got to say, I never really thought much about them. And then we had a call about 6 months ago where I thought, well, maybe we should look at it. So.
Yeah, I do think it's important to be clear when you talk about using them in a mental health situation. That's a situation where somebody's having a mental health crisis and is in imminent danger to themselves or the officers. That's not a de-escalation tool for somebody just having a break.
Right, somebody armed with a knife or a firearm or some kind of, something like that where they're, it's just easier, safer way for us to de-escalate the situation without getting somebody hurt.
All right. So if you could either do your own research or funnel your questions to Pat, and let's try to be ready to make a decision at the next board meeting. Anything else from the trustees on this? Pat, anything else? Aaron?
All right, so I missed the last couple of meetings. It's been a wacky month and a half, so I figured I'd bring some statistics with me today. So since October 1st, the last month and a half, we've been alerted to 168 incidents. As you heard earlier today, we utilized Mercy Flight for the 6th time since July, which is certainly higher off than we would care to be. Of those 168 incidents, just putting a hypothetical, just call them critical incidents out, These include house fires, cardiac or respiratory arrests, pedestrian strikes, bicycle incidents, mercy flight uses, and priority incidents involving children. We have had 25 of them. We are averaging one every 47 hours. Reason I bring this up is the crews are tired. Not anything we can do to prevent this kind of stuff, but they are working. Everybody is doing a phenomenal job with responding to these incidents. But like I said, they are tired. Hopefully, as the holidays come, things start dying down and we can get a little bit of a break. With that in mind, we are coming up on our recruitment season. So next meeting, we plan on having 2 applicants here. Please, please, please help us do some recruitment. It's the best thing that we can do is get more members. We are also, the only other thing I have for you is we are starting back putting our food donation box for the fish in front of the station. We did this 2 years ago, if you remember. We skipped it last year. The idea behind it is to be able to pull right up onto the truck bay ramp. You can get out of your car, walk 2 feet, and put non-perishable food donations into the box. So that's all I have for you, unless you have questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, how many members do you have now?
It varies depending on what members do. We're currently in the 40s.
Weren't we up to close to 100 at one, like a couple of years ago?
I've been
or no?
here 10 years. We've never been
Oh.
over 60.
Never, okay.
Yeah. Back years ago, we certainly had way more.
Yeah, but even 40 sounds low. I thought we were sitting in the mid-50s.
We're in the upper 40s, I'd say, but I'm actually making a list right now for Maureen to update the roster for her.
What's the comfort zone for you? What's your optimum?
The more the
I
merrier.
know the more.
The more the merrier. It depends on
I mean, is there a
availability
minimum?
also. Obviously, daytime response is going to be more limited than right now.
How involved the members are,
How involved people are, exactly. Yep,
how much time they can dedicate to it.
yep.
Sure. Thank you for everything you guys have been doing. You've been through a lot in the past
Certainly.
couple of months, especially. When you're asking us to please help with recruitment season, what can we do?
So one of the things that I've learned in the last few years is it's ignorance. A lot of people don't even realize that we're a volunteer department. Just reaching out to people who are, looking for something to do. The reason that we've learned that this time of the year is good for recruitment for us is because it's the time of the year that people are often sitting at home not doing as much. We don't have people knocking on the door in the summer when everybody's got better things to do. We learned that with COVID. If you remember, during COVID, we had a lot of members come and join. And that was, I think, the big thing behind it was a lot of people were sitting at home looking for things to do. So really just getting out there and spreading the word, saying, hey, this might be something that you can do. We can find something for almost anybody.
Thank you.
What are you doing at the high school?
We are working with the SRO quite a bit. He's helped us out up there. We have been up there during lunches. We're working on trying to get something going with the sports teams. We're also working on trying to get some type of like an auto extrication demo, like what you see people do around prom season or in the spring around graduation. Trying to get up there as much as we can. Tough with daytime availability to get people to take off work to go up there, but we've finally made it to the high school in the last year, which we haven't done in the past.
And do you have somebody who's kind of in charge of recruitment? Like, you got a committee, or do you have just one person?
It's a committee.
It's a committee?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would think at the high school in Armsby might be good to
For
get
sure.
people thinking about it, So then they get out of high school and go, could be something I could do. And you
Absolutely.
talk up the LoSAP program with the
Yep.
retirement option for them. So I know, problem is, right, 19-year-olds aren't thinking about
Not
retirement,
overly concerned
No,
about
but
it,
the
yeah.
I
gym's
got
a
into
good
it when I was
perk.
For sure.
19,
Yep.
What?
Said the gym's a good perk.
Yeah?
Probably more interesting than retirement to a 19-year-old.
Absolutely. Yep.
How about the advertisement flyers? Can we put one of those in the paper?
Yeah,
Were you allowed
I could reach
put
out to them.
Ads in the paper?
Like pay for an
Flyers.
ad or ask them to put it in the,
You could ask them, I guess, yeah.
yeah, because if we pay for it, it's gonna be hidden in the back types. If you pay, I guess you could pay for a whole page ad.
Yeah,
Or we could just ask them to.
okay.
Yeah, I could ask them for sure. Good.
Very good. Thanks, Aaron. Rich?
The building department is running pretty much smoothly right now. We're winding down a little bit from the construction that we've had, but Benderson's keeping us busy. We got a few other larger projects in the town, but things are going relatively well for the end of the year as we're coming close to it. So I have nothing else really to add, except Matt, congratulations again on your retirement.
Shane? Thanks, Rich.
After talking to Trustee Flynn the other day, I put a request into our county legislator, Lindsay Larigo, a request for some funds for tracks for the DPW's side-by-side that emergency services could use. Although she got back to me a few days later saying they've already went through the budget process and she'll keep us in mind. So,
Power.
yeah, so we'll keep that on the back burners and hopefully she'll remember us in the future. And just trying to work with the tree service that's doing the trimming through town and the residents to deal with those issues as they come along. There is a possibility that we might be able to have O'Connell Electric take large chunks, branches, trees that they have to take down in whole to the ROC, who will cut them up or have them cut up and distribute to needy families who need them to help heat their homes this winter. So we started on that today, and we're going to work through that and see what that produces. So that's it.
Thanks, Shane. Maureen?
It's all Tyler training and set up, and over the weekend, Tyler training and set up. All the staff is working overtime, trying to get trained and ready for when the new software's here.
How long is training going to be?
Through June. Through June. I'm pretty much booked nonstop through February, and then there'll be a little bit in March, and then May, June.
You're not going to be this busy through June.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'll know how to use that software, and we're getting a lot of great stuff for the residents on how to pay and a lot of great things for the employees so that they can see their records and we can stop printing things and a lot of, remote access, and it'll be good.
When it's all done. Good. Thanks, Maureen.
Yep.
Matt? Take us out. Department head report.
I got nothing.
All right. Thanks, Matt, for all you've done. All your department head reports all these years. All right, so moving on to trustees. Grace?
I'm just going to echo kind of what Aaron said. Having joined the fire department a couple months ago, I see the calls come in and they are getting a lot and they're getting tired. Recognizing the guys who show up to a lot of the calls, and if you see them, say hi, they like it, and then promote that volunteer aspect.
Thanks, Grace. Molly?
I went to the statue dedication at the Millard Fillmore House last weekend, or on the 9th. It was a lovely event, and Sue McBurney and all the volunteers there, the garden club, they spend a lot of time maintaining and volunteering for that, and a lot of the other historical things around town, so kudos to them. Did a nice event. And it's a cool statue. It's a really cool statue.
It's like a beautiful setup. With
Yeah,
gardens
it's really
and the
nice.
walkway and everything.
Yeah.
And he's chilling on a bench in the back.
He's chilling
there.
on a bench with a dictionary in his hand because he taught himself how to read. And
Really?
yeah, there was Sue went into a couple-minute spiel about why they decided what time period in his life and the decisions that were made for the statue, and then the garden club's redoing all the walkway and all the stuff around there. It's nice day, nice thing.
That's great. Thanks, Molly. Ernie?
Nothing.
Kristen?
Capital Committee's been meeting. Our next meeting is actually after the next village board meeting, so we don't have an update quite yet, but we're just about done. Definitely going to be finished on time to submit it to Maureen. So that's all in good shape.
Thank you.
Oh, and I had a couple of meetings with the tree board and with ACES last week. From what I'm hearing, the work with O'Connell is going about as well as it can go. That's what Jesse said, having worked with them and their arborist. Sounds like they're being, as responsive as you could expect for work that's inherently really destructive.
Just feel like there's got to be a better way. I went and looked at King Street, and there's like 2/3 of the trees are cut off. 2/3.
Really?
Yeah.
King?
King.
I-
Right here along the building.
Jeff and I have been talking about that, and all the trees are young trees, or fairly young trees, and they were planted directly under the power lines. So going forward, we're going to work with better placement when we plant the village trees, and hopefully that prevents future issues down the road for years to come.
Well, and that's,
Jeff, maybe shrubs instead of trees?
Trees.
but it is that when the tree board asks homeowners what kind of tree they want, it's pick one from this list, and it's a list of trees that aren't going to grow up into the power lines.
But there's some,
Or
there's some taller trees on that
offer
list,
to
right?
plant the trees on the
Off.
Right.
on their property in between the sidewalk and the house.
Not under the lines.
That's not going to go up into the lines.
That's
Can we do
been a
that?
push
Can we
also.
give them a tree and not put it in the right of way?
I think we could give it to them.
We could give it
Maybe
to them.
they have to plant it or something,
Can they
but
plant it?
I'm pretty sure they've been planning them not in the right way.
They plan one
Yeah.
on my
They def-
part, it's not in the
Yeah.
right of
Well,
way.
there's been a push in that
It's
direction.
in my
They
yard
did that
proper.
for me as well.
Yeah.
It's all not between the sidewalk and the road. And the head arborist for the city of Buffalo was at my house. This is quite some time ago. And he looked at those cherry trees under those lines and he's like, whose decision was that? And he's like, you know what's going to happen with those? They grow fast and they're like weeds and yeah. So choices of the tree and where can prevent a lot of it.
They can, and I think that's the big, I think the same thing that we've recommended to people already, but, when you see one of those door hangers, call the number.
Right.
Definitely call the number. Be home, talk to the guys. That's there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's good to, advocate for yourself.
Nice. Anything else, Kristen?
That's all I've got.
All right, Stephen?
Not much for me. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, we have a Parks Committee meeting, and that's about it.
Thank you. I would just say I'm working with the rink folks. They're trying to figure out a plan to put a sidewalk down the west side of Riley. And I'm just trying to figure out a way to navigate that telephone pole that's right on the bridge over the creek there. So working with the town highway department and NYSEG to see if we can come up with a solution that'll make that possible to have the sidewalk run across the bridge. Also went to the Veterans Day ceremony at the Legion. Just so much admiration for those folks and all the commitment and sacrifice they've made for us. And the event was very well attended and well run, and we do really appreciate those guys. So that said, can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss legal matters?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? I would say that we don't intend to vote on anything when we come out of executive session. You never know, but we don't plan on it. So if anybody does feel like sticking around, they are forewarned. But if not, then thank you for coming to the meeting. All those in favor of going into executive session?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Approved. We are in executive session.